Broadcasting from the Queen City, you're listening to the What Gives podcast.
I cannot believe that we are almost at 2025. So today I have two amazing guests. And before we do the grand introduction for our year in review podcast, can we all please pop our champagne, our Prosecco, and do this podcast? Let's go. Oh, I don't even know that it pops, guys. It's a twist off. Look at this. All right, here we go. Here we go. We are celebrating a really good year for the city of Cincinnati, for business, and cheers to you guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Woo.
Cheers.
Cheers, Jesy.
This is great. This is not my first time drinking on a podcast. I should probably say that. I'm not sure what
Cheers. I like this.
What that indicates about
Friday.
me, but it's not my first time. So I am the Vice President of Client Partnerships at a video agency called RESLV. Mm-hmm. We help tell stories. And we actually also have a podcast called Rediscover Your Story. That's where I was drinking with our friends at Really Good Box Wine.
Yes, and it's a great podcast.
It's a great podcast, thank you. But yeah, we do a lot of great work both here locally and out of Cincinnati, and we're telling all kinds of great stories. Right now we're working on a documentary that is being funded by Miami University to help tell the story of the Cradle of Coaches. So
I'm Jamie Smith, Market President and Publisher of the Cincinnati Business Courier. I've been in this role for a little bit over 13 years. Obviously at the Courier, our role is as a media company creating content, much like yourselves, creating content that business owners, business leaders in the community of Cincinnati can find out the information they need to run their business and learn more about the business community.
Yeah, well, cheers to you guys. I think as leaders in the Cincinnati area, you guys came to mind when I was like, hey, we need to do this year in review.
Those are fun.
You guys are fun. Who can we have fun with? Who can we talk frankly about awesome things with? And so thanks for being here today.
Yeah.
As I look back on 2024, I really think this has been just a monumental year for the city. I feel the energy. I hope you guys feel the energy. Like, just thinking of highlights this year, just regionally, city-wise, for your business.
Gosh.
I want to know, what do you think made it such a good year?
I'll take this one. I think there's a couple things that made this such a great year. I think our city is a thriving city. I think we have a thriving business community. As a small content agency, we have grown. This is probably our best year yet, and that is because everybody around us is growing. And I mean, you've got Blink coming out this year as such a great opportunity.
Oh, it was killer.
Killer. We've got things like, the Sundance Film Festival. That's an opportunity.
She's still in all the things I want to talk about.
Yes,
that's where I went first.
Jeez, take a sip.
You're a household name, buddy. Just
I
let
know
me
he
take
is a household name. Yeah, Jamie is a household name.
He's a household name. There's just a lot of excitement going on here.
Yeah.
I would agree 100%
really
with you. I think there's so much going in the right direction in Cincinnati. We had, not going to lie, a couple years, not just in Cincinnati, but across the country, COVID, people learning to work a different style, whether it's hybrid or work from home or back to office, whatever it looked like. We had to adjust, right? regions, cities, and I think anything that you read right now shows that Cincinnati is above where everyone else is in that regard. Whether if you drove downtown today, you walk downtown today, you see a lot of cranes, you see a lot of buildings that are being turned into something new, but keeping the beauty and the existing architecture that Cincinnati has. Sundance, I'm on the board of Film Cincinnati.
I didn't even know that.
More excited to be
awesome.
one of the three finalists to hopefully have a 10-year contract with Sundance here in Cincinnati. We should be finding that out in January at the film festival.
That would be incredible.
That would be great, right? You talk about economic impact. You talk about adding visibility to our region, the number of people that haven't seen Cincinnati or might consider Cincinnati as a flyover state. We'll now see what it is. The one thing you didn't mention that I think is huge for our city is keeping the tennis tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was huge.
And
You're so right. What a good highlight.
Yes.
Right?
And
I
was
think-
it not epic? The champagne tent this year was
Absolutely.
more epic than,
Absolutely. But I think it speaks to what Cincinnati and the region is doing. It's collaboration. I
Yes.
mean, Warren County, Hamilton County, Cincinnati,
Yes.
public companies, the
Yeah.
big companies wanted to support and keep that here. So I
They
think
did.
that's a great sign of what Cincinnati has
we
to offer.
forget we forget the year in stories, and that was a huge story, and that was like a story even that like the state supported, and I mean
Yeah.
it's just such a positive thing for our community.
I think we need to take like a tiny step back in case people don't know what we're talking about,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
Because I think that people who just don't know maybe some of those inside baseball knowledge about what happened is that there was a threat that it was leaving. I mean, it
Absolutely.
was
Big
actually
threat.
like almost completely out the door for us, right?
Yes.
Like,
yes, we thought it was a done deal.
we thought the door was already closed,
Yes.
done deal. And then to your point, Jamie, like all of these organizations, all these companies, all these city leaders came together and they just rodeoed it.
They figured
brought
it
back.
out.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, they did. They lassoed it back in a big way. And I think it was just exciting to see everybody come together. So,
And I think a lot of that, people tend to forget, you talk about big companies, people tend to forget that like the CEOs of whether you're talking a Western Southern, a Kroger, a P&G, a GE Aviation, they care about what's going on in this region.
They do.
They know that if we make this region a better place for their employees and their customers, they're going to be a much more successful business.
The Business Courier, I feel like that's like the first thing I do in the morning, by the way.
Me
I don't
too.
know about you, Jesy, but I have to check the Courier.
he's a household name. That's
what's
what I was
going
like,
on,
that's what I was saying. And
the
we've never met in person.
happenings. I love it. I love the reporting. What do you
Yep.
think has made the Business Courier such a success? Because I think that's the first thing that any business person in the area, the region, does
Yeah.
as they see, okay, what's happening today.
Yeah.
In the relevancy too,
Yeah,
right? Like
super
you guys
relevant.
are super relevant.
Yeah.
Well, I think the key has been, and it goes with almost anything, building right relationships. Our reporters, my editorial team, understand what our readers want to hear about. We use analytics like you would not believe. So, like
wow.
any story that we write, we
Yeah.
track how many readers did we get for that story? How far in the story did they go online before they abandon it? Did they share that story with somebody else? So they understand what's going to be a hit with us, what's not going to be a hit with us. So if we start to write a lot of stories about, name anything, sports, and nobody's reading it, we know to stop. We know to, to pivot and go somewhere else. But building the relationships to get those stories, I often like to think that when something big happens that has a business angle, we're the first place you're going to hear about it from.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many CEOs have said to me, hey, I can't talk about this yet, but when I do, you'll be the first person we call.
That is so true.
so
That
I
is so
think
true.
that's-
Can we get them first
Yeah.
to run this story? Because it's the news that matters,
Right.
to Cincinnatians, to people investing outside of Cincinnati. You have to think about that whole chain.
And there's been a lot of change in media. I often hear the terminology "print is dead." Nobody no longer wants to read print; they want to go digital. Well, we do both.
I love print.
We do both, and I'll be happy to tell you that we have about 17,000 subscribers that subscribe either digitally to the Courier or print.
Yes.
And over this past year, print has gone up about 5%, and the digital only has gone down about 2%. So overall, we're up about 3.5% in our readers. Again, the highest number we've ever had. And then we have some free digital options that we're hitting over 47,000 people every
That
day.
is
Through our
it's
morning edition that you start
amazing.
your day
Yes,
with,
I love the
our
morning
3
edition.
o'clock afternoon, or those that just want to get the breaking news.
I always
that
hit
we
the
do.
morning edition. I have to say, though, my parents literally live down the street from me, and I steal their paper. Because there's something about it's terrible, right? Like, I subscribe.
She
I'm
walks up in her
digital.
pajamas, grabs
I'm
that
like,
paper.
hey, are you finished with this yet? Can I have this? I'd like to relax, and read and dissect this and really
Does Kim really know this is going on?
No, I don't know that she does. I'm like, are you done? I don't think you've tapped into this. My mother is Kim. In case
Yeah,
you haven't.
sorry.
Yeah, she knows.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I like that they get the paper version. I like that they're a block away from me.
Mm-hmm.
I get the digital and I'm online, but there is something nostalgic about the
Absolutely.
paper version.
Catalogs
it's
are
amazing.
making a comeback this year.
Are they? I didn't know that.
When you were saying that, in my head I was thinking, I wonder if that's on trend with the fact that catalogs are coming back, like the big catalogs, like the Target and the Amazon catalogs are huge.
I thought the
obviously.
Amazon was huge this
Oh,
year.
the Amazon. My son cut every single picture out.
Yes.
Pasted it almost so that my daughter could not pick a Christmas gift.
Yeah.
I'm much older than you guys,
Yes.
but I remember the old Sears and Roebuck catalog,
yes.
which is where you would make your Christmas list
Sears.
from, right?
We had
Yeah,
Sears.
you can't. I was gonna say we had Sears. I think that was like
had
the thing
Sears.
we did.
Yeah.
We also had phone books. I sat on them.
I sat on them a lot at dinner. At dinner, we sat on them. Every now and then, we did look up a business, call a business.
Yeah.
So it happened.
Yeah, it
So
did
talk
happen.
about RESLV, because you've been there, and I've seen
little over 3 years.
transformative growth.
RESLV, I've been there a little over 3 years, but my career has been fun. It's been, I came from print, worked at a printing company, transitioned into a digital agency, was there for about 12 years, and then transitioned into more of a video content agency, just really trying to stay at the top of my game, the top of the marketing game. And so when I joined RESLV, one of my biggest complaints probably was, video is like, it's just highway robbery when you do video with a marketing agency, right? You are spending tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars for 30 seconds, and then there's the cutting room floor and what happens to that content and why aren't we reusing it? So when I joined RESLV, my major strategic initiative was, how do we do better? How do we really just work hand in hand with digital marketers, because I knew the digital marketer so well as a target audience, and how do we become their best friend and provide them as much of assets that we can that will accompany everything else that they're doing, from campaigns, both through digital advertising, through social media, through their TV commercials, through their email, landing page. How do we help to be their glue to make it all still holistic? And so that's what we focused on.
When you look back and this year in review, we had so many cool things that you guys highlighted. And maybe you have to be agnostic, but I think personally you can say, like, if you were to pick one event that you attended this year that you were like, wow, that was like transformative, or whatever it is, what was that for you? You know, and maybe you can't say, I get that you love all things Cincinnati and you're allowed to love all things Cincinnati. That's your job.
Yeah.
But there are just so many good things that happened this year just from that reel, that highlight reel.
I think Cincinnati is so good at throwing parties, number one. You know, I mean, you mentioned Blink.
Yeah.
I think Blink is a great example of, no matter who you are, no matter what you look like, no matter where you come from, if you don't find something that Blink that lights you up, pun intended.
I love that, yeah.
You know, there's something wrong, because there was culture involved, there was architecture involved, there was music involved.
Everything.
I mean, there was, an Asian festival in the middle of it. I mean, there was so much fun that you could have there.
It's a blast. Even with kids, like this year, my kids and I went, and even like the drone show and all of that. I think, to me, if I had to pick one takeaway special moment for Cincinnati, there's so much secret sauce that goes into that by Josh, by Andrew, by the
Justin,
Chamber, and
Justin at the
Justin's
Chamber.
been great.
I mean, so many. Brendan, Brendan was calling Northern Cincinnati Foundation, can we get funding? We still need funding for this stuff. And then I'm reaching out to donors like, hey, who wants to fund this? And then securing funding, which was so fun.
Yep.
We all need to pull together to make sure that this continues to happen. And Philanthropy has played a key role in all the foundations and everybody coming together to make sure Blink stays. So to me, I'm like, this was the thing. I'm always blown away. Every year gets better. You know, Josh said something to me once on a podcast, which I love. He said, people only remember their last best party, right? Like their experience, because that's the world of experiences that
Very
you
experiential.
create. Yes.
But our city can handle that.
Absolutely.
We learned that with T Swift when she came to town.
Oh my
right?
We
God!
really, now that
T-Swift.
wasn't this past year. But
I am grieving the loss
I
of the
can't
Eras
talk-
tour
I
this
know, I
year
know.
because
There's a dark cloud.
I
over the
literally
year.
got my makeup done like it was my wedding. Like, hey,
Yeah.
let me get my glitter on.
Yes.
Let me get my happy pants on. Let me
Yes.
have some bubbly.
Yes.
And let's go sing some songs.
Yeah, trade
at
the
the top of
bracelets.
our lungs. Trade the
Yes.
bracelets.
Yep.
Dance through the streets of Cincinnati. I will tell you, if that is not one of my most magical, and I love Blink, but as a female in the city of Cincinnati, it was electric.
It was electric.
Literally nothing
Yep.
compares. I was still in bed by 10:30. I left like 1 or 2 songs early. Don't tell T Swift. I
T
haven't-
Swift, if you're listening,
If you're
please close
listening,
your ears right now.
Please. I left 2 songs early because I don't like the rush to get
No,
home to bed.
I left right. I left in the throes of the crowd, and I was
Yes.
actually telling this to Brendan Cole is that the logistics. Again, our city can handle really big events. I was home so quick. I was probably home only like maybe 40 minutes after
Yes.
the event
Yeah.
ended. And I think
100%.
that goes to show like not only can we handle something as big as like Taylor Swift the same weekend
It's
that
amazing.
again like all these other events are going on, but we can handle a Blink. And
I have to tell you this anecdotal story.
Okay.
So I went with my good girlfriend, Lauren Berger, Recker and Berger, by the way, plug for Recker and Berger.
Yep.
And we were leaving, and I'm calling my now husband, just got married.
Yep.
And I said, hey, I'm the one in the glitter dress.
Yeah.
Like, come pick me up. If that doesn't tell you how good of a time I had, and he goes, are you serious right now, babe? You're the one in the glitter dress? And I'm
Right.
like, oh.
There's a lot
right.
of us.
Yeah,
There's a
okay.
lot of us.
Yeah, so it was good. It was good.
Well, it kind of goes back to, going back a little bit to Sundance.
Yes.
The amount of community input and support that Christian Schlotman, who's the CEO
Yeah.
from Cincinnati, has gotten, because as you can imagine, you put a bid in on something like Sundance. It's not just, hey, we want to have this brand, we want to have this festival in
Yeah.
our marketplace.
Yeah.
It's like, can you support it?
Yeah.
And that means money. It means organizations like our big companies here, the state, the cities, whoever else. But it also means, do we have the facilities? Think about over the Rhine,
Yeah.
the number of little theaters that are around.
So
Beautiful
many.
Music Hall,
gosh,
the Aronoff
I love
Center.
it.
But one of the things that I think we have
restaurants.
impressed them with is our walkability and the
Yes.
So much.
uniqueness of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And like the restaurants, like we actually have some killer
Oh, absolutely.
restaurants. Some
Absolutely.
like I think that like when you benchmark it to Europe or New York or Florence and Italy, I'm talking like the best meccas in
Yeah.
the world. We really
Absolutely.
We can
do a
hold
good
our own.
job.
We can
I
hold our
really
own.
do think that about our food scene.
Yep.
Well, when they came to town for the very first visit, they being the Sundance Festival, I think that at that point there were still 12 or 13 in the running. They landed at Lunken Airport at like 8 in the morning, and they stayed till I think we closed the night out at about 10:30 on the rooftop of 21C.
So the Cincinnati Business Courier, they have a 40 under 40 that started. You'll have to tell me how many years ago, because I've heard all kinds of people say, I was the class of this, I was the class of that. I received 40 under 40, so did my sister, actually. Back to back.
Back to back years.
Back to back. Yeah, that was
awesome.
super fun.
I think I was nominators.
You were. You were. Way to
very
go,
important.
Jesse. So talk about like,
Sure.
I enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed meeting the class. I mean, it's such a great thing. But talk about like
Sure.
criteria. I know.
Absolutely. This was year 27
Oh my
of doing
gosh.
40 under
Okay.
40. And for those that don't know what 40 under 40 is, it's an awards program that we do, and it represents the 40 young leaders in the region that are making a difference. When you're talking about what makes you a 40 under 40, it's kind of a combination. You're moving up in your job, your role, your career.
Yep.
You're giving back to the community, and you're making change happen. And it's one of our biggest celebrations that we have throughout the year.
It's so fun.
It is. We have
so
each
fun.
winner pick their theme song or the song that represents
Oh, like a
them.
walk-up song?
Yeah, they do a
There's
walk-up song. The last couple years, we've had it in Northern Kentucky at Megacorp
Megacorp,
Pavilion.
yeah.
On stage. We've been inside, outside, but you basically walk the catwalk while your song
Yep.
plays.
Yep.
Your pictures are up. We picked 40. Believe it or not, we have over 500 nominations each year. for the judges to pick
You were one of
out of
500.
40.
Look at you.
Yeah.
I know.
That's great.
And people ask me all the time, what do I have to do to win it? I'm like, do good things.
Yeah.
Right.
How many nominations do I need? You only need one. Just thorough of why are you making a difference in Cincinnati.
Right.
And nominations are open, so you can go to the Cincinnati Business Courier.com, look under events and nominate.
Yeah.
And that'll be in the fall. It's like September timeframe.
Yes.
But you're right. We've had some great people. We've actually had husband and wife win it the same year,
way.
which I think
cool.
is so interesting.
That's
and I think
super
kind of a
cool.
unique,
That is so fun.
Yeah.
kind of a unique aspect of it is our judges that select the winners are past 40 under 40 winners.
Yeah.
So I've been very thorough about looking and getting people from the first class, the middle class, last year's class, and people from every industry.
Yeah.
Because, you don't want a group of all lawyers or a group of all doctors or a group of all philanthropists. You
Right,
want a
yeah.
cross-section.
You do.
So they're really looking at our community and saying who are our next really important leaders in this region.
And I was going to bring up, so when we were talking about all these things that are happening throughout the year, something that happens at the beginning of the year that I think a lot of us forget about is the Great Living Cincinnatians. It's one of my
I actually
favorite
don't
events.
know about this.
You've been. You came
I
to
have?
the chamber annual dinner.
Oh, is that it?
That's where they
Oh,
like
God.
announce it. We're gonna
Guys,
edit that.
Listen, edit it out. Take it out. I'm sorry.
You were there. There's a
I
picture of you and my
remember.
dad and I.
Well, I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, anything with her dad, just so you know. Her dad is literally the
Jada.
salt of the earth.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
the salt. He'll be at my house on Sunday.
Yeah. No, but Great Living Cincinnati, and we have 4 new that just got announced over Thanksgiving weekend. But every year, Resolve gets to help tell that story, and we do like kind of mini documentaries
incredible.
about each. Thank you.
The stories, I mean, they
Thank
just
you.
warm your
Oh
heart.
yes, I did
Thank
hear
you.
this. Yes, thank you for catching me up.
You're welcome. You've been there before.
Well, and I'll give you some credit, you and your
Yes.
company, because I think we have a lot of awards programs.
Yes.
I go to a lot of awards programs, and the hardest thing I think to do is, especially if you have a number of honorees,
Yes.
is to really tell the story so the audience walks away understanding why are we honoring these people.
Yes.
But you guys
Thank
do
you.
such a good job of telling. There's peers of theirs, there's family members of theirs, and they're all given their impact or the explanation
Yes.
of the impact they've left on this city.
Yeah.
And I can I add one more event too.
Yes.
I would be in big trouble if I didn't mention it. I'm the chair of the Cincinnati Flying Pig Marathon.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
It's
And that
the
is
best.
an organization that's going through a lot of change. We have a new
Yes.
CEO,
Okay.
Iris Bush, who has been our CEO since
That's a
for the
haushole
last
name.
25
Yes, it
years.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
Out of the 27 years it's been around, she was the CEO for 24 to 25 of those. Doug Oberding, who just became our CEO, is now on board. We're in the process of finding a new home. We're actually looking at Walnut Hills and buying a building up there
I
that's
love
on the
Walnut Hills
course.
area. Yes.
But we were rated as the #1 marathon in America this year by
Really?
USA Today.
I saw that.
And that's big.
I saw that.
That's
You know
huge.
what? I love the Flying Pig. I started running this as well as Queen Bee. I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 years
Yeah.
ago, and I feel like I'm hooked. I am hooked.
Well,
it's
it's a vibe.
just a whole
It's a vibe.
experience. You know,
Well, again, it's a
whole
connection point.
experience.
Regardless of your running ability,
Yes.
regardless of your age, even if you don't want to run or walk,
Yeah.
the fans that are on that course,
It's incredible.
Are unbelievable. The volunteers.
That's why I want to sign up.
Yeah.
Is because even like this year, I did the Queen Bee, which is related, obviously,
Yeah.
under the same umbrella.
yes, absolutely.
And I did the Queen Bee this year, and I have to admit, I didn't really train. I was coaching full-time volleyball for St. Michael's School, where her kids also attend.
We volunteer a lot.
We volunteer a lot of time, and so I was coaching. I didn't have time to train. I was also planning a wedding.
Just a little thing there.
Can we just little cheers here?
Yes, absolutely.
Aaron just got married.
In
Congratulations.
Aspen. Thank you. It was amazing. Aspen's amazing, guys.
Yeah. No, that's perfect.
It's incredible. So anyway, side note. So I didn't really train.
Yeah.
The furthest run I did was 5 miles. And I decided, and I thought, okay, I'm not running it this year because we're playing in the tournament and
But there's so much
we might make
energy.
it. There's so much energy. So anyway, we lost
Yeah.
day 1 of tourney on a Friday, and I thought,
I'm running tomorrow.
womp womp, I'm running tomorrow.
Isn't that what the kids say?
Womp,
No, the kids say
womp.
womp womp.
Yeah, they do. And I thought, okay.
Laugh it out, Matt. The kids say womp womp.
They say it. So I decided, okay, we're winging it. I'm doing it, you know? And my husband's sitting next to me, and I'm like, I'm doing it. It's crazy. I might be dead, you know, but I'm going to do it. And because of my college running background, even though I haven't been training really in the last 20 years, you know, it's almost 20 years out of college running.
Yeah.
I decide that morning that I'm just going to magically hang on to the 8:24 pace. Because I am an animal, and I will do it.
And I could do it.
And you know what? I didn't, and I thought I died.
Did you lay in bed all day Sunday?
Oh, I was dead. So our producer has some magic index
Should I be scared?
cards here.
I'm scared a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What bottle I'm popping on New Year's? What bottle are you popping on New Year's?
I haven't
coming up. You
thought
need to decide.
about the
You
bottle.
should actually-
It's going to be a Prosecco. How about that?
Yes,
I'm
I
going
like
to go
that.
with the Prosecco. Not a rosé Prosecco.
Yes.
I just need like a full-bodied Prosecco.
Got it.
That's what I'm going to do.
I just got back a couple weeks ago from Italy.
Oh my gosh, I saw
2
the
weeks
pictures.
in Tuscany.
What?
And
Humble
I got
brag,
a couple
which is
bottles
amazing.
there.
Yeah, you did.
Of mostly red wine, a lot of Cab. But I did get
Chianti?
a couple bottles, yes. Chianti was beautiful, by the
Oh,
way. We actually
Chianti
went to
Classico.
Chianti.
Yes.
Oh, so
So
good.
there'll be one of those bottles. I think I have about 72 bottles that came back from Italy.
What? Can I just come to your
I'll
house
be
and buy
over.
one of those?
We'll
I'll
just
be
have New
over.
Year's together.
Okay,
How
yeah.
about that?
I'm just going
I'm
to
coming
see your
over,
basketball
Jamie.
game, and then I'm pretty open after
Yes,
that.
I think you owe me a bottle after this podcast.
Yeah. I don't need a whole bottle. I'll just come share one.
That sounds good.
I think that sounds amazing. Okay, guys, favorite new food in 2024? Starting with Jesy.
Oh, me?
Yeah, oh yeah, you're in the hot seat.
New, just new food in general?
I mean, whatever.
Okay, this is going to just be my answer. I'm just
Okay.
going to go with it. This Halloween, for the very first time, I had a 100-gram bar. And I have never had one before. I see your face over
For the
there.
first
For
time
the first
ever?
time. For the first time.
That's incredible. I love that. For
I've
you.
never had that before. And the first bite, I was like, where has this been my whole life? This
You
is like one of the
binge
oldest
ate.
candies.
Did you just take all their 100-gram bars?
You can't find them, really.
Oh.
The kids don't get them in there.
That's great.
I love that.
But
Okay,
I
what
was digging through
Oh,
their
I
candy.
believe it. I
There was
believe it.
maybe one. And I was
Yeah.
I
like,
take all Reese cups. I mean,
you're a Reese cup person?
Oh, I take all
Traditionally, I'm a
Reese cups.
Butterfinger person, but that 100 grand, look out.
Ooh, I love it. What about you?
My new favorite, I would say, or the one I've really learned to love in 2024. I was never a sushi eater, but here lately, the Jeff Ruby's Godfather roll,
Right?
and the Herb Street roll.
Yes. Okay,
I
so
love it.
is that the one
Okay.
at downtown? The precinct has some really good sushi too.
Yeah, I know I usually get them downtown, but I'm sure
Yes.
they're probably similar, if not
Yes,
the same.
and Carlo
Okay.
and Johnny.
The Godfather
Yes.
roll?
The Godfather roll.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Godfather.
It's
My
got
daughter's a
prime rib
huge
in it
sushi
as
fan.
well as seafood.
Oh.
The Herb Streets, I think the Herb Streets tuna.
Yeah, I think you're
Maybe,
right.
But they're
I
both
think
so
you're
good.
right.
And I never thought I liked it.
What was your? We'll switch it over.
Wait,
here.
are you not answering any of these?
Do you want me to answer some of these?
I mean,
All right,
we're
all
in the
right.
hot
Right?
seat.
All right. So favorite
Roll back.
favorite new food in 2024. I don't know.
Don't take my 100 grand answer.
No, I won't do that. I would say, I don't know. It's hard. I actually am a restaurant person, so I would take a restaurant take on this.
All right, let's go.
Okay, so I love Alara. It's a newer
Yes.
restaurant. I
Okay.
think it opened in 2024. And I like that whole group only because I have
Plug
celiac.
it. Where is it?
So it's right by MedPace over
Okay.
there, off Red Bank. And the Looking Glass hospitality group I love
Yep.
because I have celiac. So
Yes.
they do Clybourne, they
That's
do
awesome.
Love
Tahona.
Claiborne's.
I've heard many people talk about how it's catering.
Yes.
to
So they
everyone.
actually have a lobster gnocchi that will blow your mind
Okay.
and is gluten free.
It's
and
a gluten-free
And it's
gnocchi.
gluten free. And I'm telling you what, so good.
Okay.
So good. Okay, so best adventure of 2024.
Venture is a big
It's a broad. It can be
broad
whatever you,
word.
whatever you want to make of it.
I think the adventure for me has been this documentary that we're working on. I mean, it is such a fun experience. So Miami University came to us with this fun idea that, how do we celebrate the history and the culture of what has become the Cradle of Coaches? And I would say that the Cradle of Coaches is pretty well known with people who know old football. They know Ara Parsegan. They know Bo Schembechler, Paul Brown. But then there's this, when you go from them, maybe Weeb Eubank, you kind of have this break in the action until you get to someone like John Harbaugh and you get to Sean McVay. And these are all leaders and coaches that have graduated from Miami University, and they have gone on to either win a Super Bowl or a national championship if they're in the college, the collegiate level football coaching. And so these are these leaders that then created this almost unimaginable coaching tree. It is so vast. And it's great. So we're able to help tell the story, and we're telling the story in this positive, very pro football in Ohio kind of way.
That is so
Amazing.
cool.
Yeah.
Such a cool documentary.
Yeah, it's going to be about a 2-year process, which is why I'm really excited Sundance has an opportunity to come to Cincinnati.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, we're meeting with Jack Geiger actually soon to talk to him a little bit about that and just kind of explore what do we kind of do. Yeah. But we're going to a lot of film festivals in 2025. We're having a lot of conversations. And then, like I said, this is something that started about August of 2024 and is about a 2-year process. So the people, I don't know, the exposure. My brain is such a sponge of early football culture. If anybody needs a buddy to come to some sort of trivia night, call me.
You have it?
I will. You're in next. Night.
Yeah. I mean, thinking and talking about the Cradle of Coaches, it's such a exciting. That's an exciting thing for Ohio. It's football in Ohio. Getting Mike Brown on camera and hearing him talk about his dad, Paul Brown, was just such an incredible experience. I mean,
they tend to be such quiet people, so it'll be great to hear, real stories.
Real stories. Yeah. And just, seeing Paul Brown's briefcase and the hat that he wore and having just kind of that, access to those things has been so incredible. And, being able to share that experience with my kids, being able to tell my son, who's 10 and a huge football fan, buddy, you live in a place where basically modern-day football, a la Paul Brown, was created. And being the mom that's cool enough to be like, hey,
you all in?
You want to come hang on the sidelines with me? Or, hey, you want to know all these things that Paul Brown created? The face mask, that was Paul Brown. The playbook, the speaker in the helmet, that's all Paul Brown. So that's been my best adventure.
And you better say the right adventure.
I was gonna say, come on.
Well, actually, I've had 2.
Okay.
I've had 2.
Yeah. I'm not going to spill your tea for you.
So in March of 2024, we went to Paris, and he proposed.
Okay.
Yes.
And then we went directly to Monaco and celebrated, and then came back to Paris and went to Rouen. So that was, we had such a good, fun, amazing champagne type of celebratory.
And that was something the two of you, right?
And it was just the 2 of us. It was amazing. Yeah. It was magical. I could not have made up the whole Eiffel Tower lock bridge proposal.
Yes.
So kudos, Jackson. There you go.
Yes.
You finally made it. I'm talking about you on the podcast because you made the husband criteria.
Every other man in America's hating you right now.
Him and George. George gets hated on all the time. Yes. Yes.
But then we just got back from a wedding in Aspen, which was also so magical. It was our immediate families that attended. Honestly, very blessed. 2024 was just
Congratulations to you both.
Thank you. Okay, so what is a New Year's resolution that you broke?
That I
last
broke?
Year? Yeah.
Broke.
What did you break, girl?
I don't make New Year's resolutions.
Oh, I like this answer.
I just make goals.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
think New Year's resolutions are made to be broken, right? They're just who cares? It's a New Year's resolution. I just kind of go all in on goals. So I'm a goal-oriented person. It probably drives a lot of people around me crazy because
I love it.
I'm the freight train that will get to that goal no matter what. And if you need to be held on, I've got a firm grip. If not, I'll let you go and I'll just keep steaming along.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I just make goals.
It was good. I'd say mine is my New Year's resolution was to get off social media a little more. And I think I failed probably January 3rd.
Yeah.
It's like, and part of it's not because
part of
what it
it's your
does for me,
job,
but like,
too.
but like watching your wedding, you know,
Right,
like
yeah.
sharing my adventures in
Yes,
Italy,
yeah.
like sharing my grandkids'
Yes,
stories,
yes.
you
Loved
know,
all
my
of
children's
that.
success stories.
Yes.
It's who we are. You know,
Yes.
it's a story, right?
Yeah,
we do
it's a
content.
story.
Right.
It's
We do
all
content.
about content.
It's all about
Right.
content.
So
Right.
I
Yep.
broke it quickly, but hey, whatever.
Mine, I will say mine's always to lose 5 pounds from the holiday.
I was gonna say, are you a dry January person?
No, I'm a damp. Actually, she lobbied me to damp January. I think was her whole thing.
I like that.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna do dry January. I went to an event with her, and you literally looked at me in the face, and you were like, I don't even try dry January. Maybe damp. Try
Maybe
damp.
damp.
Maybe
Maybe I'm not the best
rains.
influence. Jamie, maybe we shouldn't be friends after this. I don't know. She's not giving me very good street
I'm thinking we
cred.
take her
Hey,
shopping
listen, I
for
didn't
Christmas
lose the
and we
5
drink
pounds.
the
I
whole
didn't
time.
lose the 5
great.
pounds.
Great,
I
great.
didn't lose the 5 pounds.
They'll come off.
I got COVID before, after Paris, and then I lost the 5 pounds. So
There you
there you go.
Hey, that happened.
It just happened late.
Worked out well for the
It
wedding
happened.
dress. And
Exactly. Okay, I have one more.
Okay.
Oh, nope. I did them all. We hit them all. This was
was
great.
so
this
fun.
was great.
it was good.
We're gonna cheers to
Okay.
Cincinnati.
I
got a little more
I got
here.
a sip. No, I got a sip in here.
Okay.
Are you trying
no,
to?
I can give you. No, I'll give you a little
Oh,
bit.
look
Not
at
much.
him.
You're
Ever the
sharing.
gentleman is Jamie Smith.
Yes.
Okay, cheers
Where are we
to
going?
20. We'll bring it all in the middle, I guess.
Okay.
Cheers to 2025.
Yes.
May good things continue to happen in Cincinnati.
I'll clink to that.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
To learn more about how to expand your philanthropy, please reach out to the Northern Cincinnati Foundation.